and we've been talking all about the weather all morning long. Craig stepped out for a few minutes, was taking an updated look at the radar because, of course, Craig, last time we checked in with you, we were starting to see issues developing closer to home, and we are now under that tornado watch. Can you give us the latest on the storm's track and what we expect to see? Has anything changed?
So the storm is coming together, and we do have a tornado watch until 7 o'clock this evening. You can see it's for this entire area shaded in pink or magenta right now. This includes the entire 13 News Now viewing area from the eastern shore through the south side, the peninsula, middle peninsula, the northern neck, all of these areas, and then northeast North Carolina, basically north of the Albemarle Sound. So far, no severe weather for our 13 News Now viewing area, but we're going to see showers and storms developing, and we've already had some pretty big storms out to the west. You take a look here approaching the South Boston area. Danville more recently has seen this tornado warning issued. Just checked it. It is radar indicated, but we are getting a lot of the rotation, that inbound, outbound wind that we've been talking about, a sign that we've got some circulation or some rotation going on. So again, folks out in Danville, out around South Boston, still outside of our area, but certainly a cell there that we're concerned with. Then you've got kind of these elongated lines here you can see moving down through the area. These are lines of potentially severe storms, a lot of outflow. Remember, we don't issue warnings based on just, lightning or, just general storm development. You need to have either gusty winds, large hail, or tornadoes. And while some of these are producing a bit of lightning, the main concern is going to be those gusty winds as the system moves along. Now you take a look at the severe weather outlook, and you can see again across parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, into Virginia here. We've got this level 4 widespread severe storms expected. As you can see, much of Raleigh, well, the entire Raleigh area, but much of central North Carolina up through Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids, and areas off to the north of that through central Virginia, all under this level 4 threat. This includes the D.C. area. Up to Baltimore, it's just a level 3 threat. But again, this is a very, very high risk of severe storms, and widespread storms are anticipated as we get into the afternoon. For the Hampton Roads area, the metro area specifically, we are looking at a level 3 threat. So again, here, this is what we would refer to as an enhanced risk of severe storms, and this is something that we have to take very, very seriously. The threat is a little bit lower, as you can see up on the eastern shore there when you get up into Accomack and up into Maryland and Delaware. But certainly for our area, and especially the western parts of the 13 News Now area, we need to be mindful that we are looking at the strongest severe storms and tornadoes. This will be a concern. We've already had multiple warnings out to the west and really the southwest once you get down into the central and southern portions of North Carolina out towards Charlotte. There was a tornado warning, all radar indicated as far as the warnings go. But we've seen some down towards Charlotte and areas off to the northeast of that, and we will likely see more. And keep in mind, you see this EF2 plus, okay, for the areas in these hashed regions, which includes the entire 13 News Now viewing area, maybe the exception up here around the eastern shore. This is kind of borderline, but I would say keep your guard up in case they have an EF2 up that way as well. Also, very powerful winds. Through the day, we could see gusts in excess of 75 miles per hour for these areas again, and we're all hashed out. Now, the hail risk is lower, and that is a blessing, okay? We don't want the large hail. Obviously, tornadoes and very powerful wind gusts, big enough concern, but I just wanted to let you know it's just that first tier of elevated risk of hail. Really, this is the least of our concerns. It's going to be strong winds and tornadoes that really have us most greatly concerned. Warnings have been issued from Pennsylvania down through Maryland, northern Virginia, all the way down through western parts of Virginia into central North Carolina. Look at the line of watches for our area until 7 o'clock this evening. We have just about the entire viewing area, the exception being areas just south of the Albemarle Sound and the southern Outer Banks. Everybody else under tornado watch, and we got a new warning that was just put up there down in Georgia. We'll zoom into that very quickly just to show you our new warning. But you see how these lines are here producing these you get these basically streets or lines of storms that come out, a lot of them just producing some very gusty winds. We look for some bowing where the line kind of moves along and then it starts to accelerate out a little bit. That's an indication of some very powerful winds. And then along that line, we're also looking for indication of rotation. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this as we get into the afternoon. So that's down in Georgia. I'll just quickly put that warning up there. Live Impact News can be reached just about anywhere. Obviously, if you've got access to the World Wide Web, you can find us here on Live Impact News, and we want to let you know about that. So, tornado warning for the counties of Irwin and Tift in Georgia. Only about 8,300 people down there under the warning, and that's until noon. So they've got another half an hour on that one. Now, as we take a look, let's come back up to our area and talk some more about the showers. Widespread across South Carolina, some more intense cells back across North Carolina, and we're seeing a little more development just out to our west. Again, we've got this tornado warning here around Danville, and that is moving off to the northeast here pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and put the indication back on this so you can get a feel for it. In addition to this particular tornado warning, there's also a thunderstorm warning for a much larger area. This does include the city of Danville, obviously, although it looks like that rotation is starting to push past Danville at this point. And again, it is moving along at a pretty good clip. I believe it's about 35 miles per hour. I'm looking for the movement statement from the National Weather Service, actually moving northeast at 45. So I take that, and that's significant to note because I'm going to clear that messaging off there, and then let me go ahead and pull up the tracker on this so we can give you a feel for where it's going next. Again, you see that cell. I would say it's pretty much clear of Danville, the tornadic area, but let's put a new track on this. And again, moving off to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour from this area in that general direction. Here's some of the other communities that it could reach: Beaver Park, Birch, Lux, High Rock, Elkhorn, Halifax, Cody, Piney Grove, and Brookneal. All of these are communities that are not under the tornado warning right now, but as this moves along, you want to be mindful of that. So if this thing does hold together, we get some more circulation somewhere else along the line. These are some of the general communities that are in line as that tracks along at 45 miles per hour. So a lot to watch with the line still far to the west. Let's bring it back to Hampton Roads. And as we do that, again, I want to put that live sweep on so you can get a good look at what's happening. Some lightning detected here out to the west of Franklin and down towards Emporia, Roanoke Rapids. Some pretty intense rains here, but still no warnings issued to this point for this area. Now, I will tell you our 13 News Now broadcast over the air will begin at noon, and Evan Stewart and I are going to tag team the coverage on this. I'll also mention our colleague Hunter Force is out in the weather impact interceptor. So he's going to be heading out to the west and checking things out, trying to kind of intercept some of these storms that are developing, giving us a closer look at some of the activity going on. Notice Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Hampton, up through Newport News. Most of these areas still in really good shape, along with most of northeast North Carolina. Some showers starting to develop, but we're really just getting started. It's still late morning, and we knew the greater threat was going to come through the afternoon for our area, and that's what we are watching, and we do have multiple meteorologists set to cover this for you throughout the afternoon. I'll give you a look at the futurecast and how things are going to shape up as we go along here. Again, we have our weather impact alert, and this is for the region. You can see what's going on here. You can see the temperatures up into the lower to mid 70s. We are going to find the winds and then the storms developing as we go through the afternoon, especially mid-afternoon and late afternoon. We could get a couple rounds as this stuff is coming through. Temperatures right now are starting to warm up a little bit more. We were in the upper 60s earlier. Now we're in the lower 70s, so these temperatures lining up with the forecast. It took a while to get out of the upper 60s. We're into the low 70s now. That additional heating with dew points in the 60s, and we can continue to monitor that as well. Those dew points providing enough juice in the atmosphere to trigger those stronger storms. Gale warnings up this afternoon for the bay and the ocean with the system coming through, so we want folks to be mindful of that. Again, some tornado safety tips. If you're at home and a warning is issued, you want to go to the basement, smallest center room in your house on the lowest floor. Stay away from windows and cover yourself. If you're in a high rise, you want to get to a lower floor if possible, or you can seek shelter in interior stairwells. They tend to do pretty good as well. All right, we're going to go back to the radar and the satellite images. No tornado warnings at this point, but we do have a watch, which means all the ingredients are there. And again, this is for Southeast Virginia, and I would say the northeast part of North Carolina needs to be on guard as well. It's interesting, this watch box kind of outlined here at the state line, because some of the other watches extend down into northeast North Carolina, and they have the potential for the tornadoes as well. So if you're around the Albemarle Sound or north, consider yourself under that watch as well until 7 o'clock, all right? As a matter of fact, I can just very quickly show you the other radar image, and you can see with the other one how it does include those areas down to the south. So here's our watch box right across these areas, and then all of southeast Virginia. Nothing severe yet, but I do think we're going to see the potential, and here's our future cast. Again, cells initially out to the west. This is what we're tracking right now. Some more development starting to show up down to the south. As we go forward, by 2 o'clock, some heavier cells reaching the ocean front and really intense. These are ones that could be severe, especially out to the west. As we head through the afternoon, 3:30, 4 o'clock, you can bet our team here will be working to keep you updated on any development if this does come together. These are the cells that could produce very gusty winds and some rotation as well, potential tornadoes across parts of the region, something we'll be considering. Heading into the evening around 6 o'clock, additional showers and storms, some of those very gusty winds and rotations possible into the evening by 8 o'clock. A lot of that heavier activity should be pulling offshore. And then notice this line right here. And I've got the winds here so you can see coming up from the south ahead of the front, shifting to the west behind the front. This is where that cold front is, right here around 8 o'clock. As we go towards 10 o'clock, this is going to push towards the coast, and you see that cooler air will start to sweep in. Temperatures will drop. Showers wind down after 10, say after about midnight. We should be done. And after that, we're going to welcome some cooler and drier air for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. But this is the concern. So we really need folks to be very, very careful. Again, we've been keeping an eye to pollen. It was high over the weekend. It's moderate today. And again, we do want folks to know while it's warm, pretty pleasant in areas right now, storms are likely later this afternoon, and as I showed you, even into the evening. Off to the north, a little bit cooler over in the eastern shore. It's also pretty windy out there, so look for the breezy conditions. Temperatures tonight falling into the low 30s tomorrow morning with clearing skies. Those storms winding down during the evening and then showers tapering off after midnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny for St. Patrick's Day, a high near 47. Now, Wednesday, 46, 55 on Thursday, up to 62 Friday, and mid to upper 60s Saturday. By Sunday, 68. Things looking pretty comfortable for us temperature-wise, but we need to continue to watch for the storms through the afternoon before we can enjoy the nicer weather later this week. Marta, I just went for a pretty long time talking about the weather. Do you have any questions? I love it because we get into the roll on this, but I'm always interested to hear if you guys as viewers have any questions about anything unfolding.
Well, I know in the past 30 minutes or so, that's where we kind of started to see things ramp up. So our weather impact interceptors out, we have live cameras from the Richmond airport. Are you seeing anything in the skies right now or with weather conditions? When you look at that live picture, does that tell you anything about what's coming or not?
You see the clouds are thickening up. Now, what is this? This is actually from where?
This is from Richmond.
This is from Richmond.
This is the airport.
Okay. So you can see the clouds rolling up. Also notice if we just take a look at that, you can see how quickly the clouds are moving. I see it's now from WTVR. So those clouds are moving along noticeably. You've got winds kicking along pretty good from the south there. When that front comes into play out ahead of it, we're going to start to see the winds kind of changing direction a little bit with height, and that again kind of sets the stage for the potential. Obviously, eventually we're going to see cooler air moving in, but we're going to be watching those winds as a key as we go throughout the afternoon and into the evening once that front arrives. For now, I would say just a strong south wind blowing the humidity and the warm air up from the south, and we have that potential. Do we have the weather impact interceptor out yet, or I see they're just about ready to head out? Pushing
I
out.
think they're parked at the moment.
They're parked. They're getting ready for the noon.
Yeah, they're getting set to go. So as we go through the afternoon, I think that's going to be a really, really interesting vantage. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to be around covering for a while. But if stuff's going, I've got the ability to go live from across the south side or wherever, and I'm going to be watching that through the afternoon. I did a lot of storm chasing, when I was in college, and at various times here at 13 News Now as well. So this is one of those things where, again, if we don't get as much development here, we will count ourselves blessed and be very happy with that. But at this point, you need to know our news team at 13 News Now, our meteorologists, we've got redundancy and that there's multiple meteorologists on duty today to make sure we've got everything covered on air, online, and on your mobile devices. So very important social media. We're trying to push out videos as well. Busy, busy day.
And I do want to note, we just saw what looked like a commercial plane take off. I know the smaller jets may have issues, but with Richmond, because I know some people fly out of Richmond instead of Norfolk, and the Norfolk airport, do you think, A, we're looking at a bunch of flight cancellations across the board? And if so, is that something we'll start to see?
Yeah.
I know some of them are already canceled. But
it all depends on how the line comes together and when it comes together. Generally you get winds 35, 40 miles per hour. Maybe a little bumpy sometimes, but those jets don't have any problems with that. I mean, they fly at their incredible speeds, right? So they're built to deal with that. Where planes get into trouble and what we have to watch for is sudden wind shifts or sudden drops in wind speed, because if those planes lose that wind coming underneath the wings, they fall. That's what gives them the lift, okay, is the airspeed underneath the wings. So that's what they're going to be watching for right now. Richmond's operations, we just saw another commercial jet take off there. Certainly the big airliners still rolling, but you can bet they'll be watching. And of course, when there are severe storms over an airport, they issue ground stops. They don't want to take any chances with passengers. So I'm sure they are experts, and they will be watching that very, very carefully. I'm looking at some of the other sky views, like down around the Jordan Bridge. We still have some sunshine peeking through. And I think it's interesting, Sarah, we're finding our temperatures now jumping up into the low to mid 70s. Took a while to get here, Marta. It was cool all morning. But now we're seeing those sunshine little pops and peaks. Where we get that, the temperature jumps up lower to mid 70s. Stage is set for the stronger storms.
Well, yeah, and if I know we have all of our sky views up, so like the beach cam behind you, we've got.
Yeah, we can take a little tour.
Let's take a
go
tour
ahead
of
and go
Hampton
for
Roads.
it.
Let's bounce around. This is from the Jordan Bridge. So we have blue skies in place, but it looks like the clouds are kind of thickening, and that's Hampton.
Clouds are rolling back in. Take a look at LFCU. Let's go up to Oyster Point City Center in Newport News. There you go. Love that sky. I mean, you see some of the clouds there. Again, nothing too dramatic in terms of, any supercell activity there, but you are seeing varying layers of cloud cover and some breaks. You see some bright spots there as well. Now, it looks like our kind of balance or leveling on our camera at Nauticus Cam 1 is a little askew, but it tells a story. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And again, it almost looks like the clouds are kind of falling off the table there.
That would be the camera.
I think the winds got to that and actually kind of, not today, this has been like this for a little while. We got to get that leveled out. But look at the clouds again starting to thicken up. People ask, well, what about, the darker gray clouds? What does that mean about the storms? Basically, that's just a measure or an indication of the thickness of the clouds. Light can't pass through the thicker clouds. You get some darker shading, and that's what you're looking at the base of some of those clouds. And then you can see some of the holes between the clouds as well. So I'm just looking there. I think the Chamberlain cam actually has some peaks of sunshine right now. If you go to that, there you go. You can see that sun trying to still kind of stick through those clouds. This is at the Chamberlain. You see one of the ships going out, and you might think, well, gosh, why would they want to go out with thunderstorms? Those big ships actually a lot of times do better out on the water than they do,
Port.
with these things, because the winds can kind of push them around a little bit. But at any rate, I will trust that those mariners know what they're doing with that ship. And the wave action there, a little breezy. We do have gale warnings. Certainly nothing that small craft would want to be out with or deal with today. But those larger tankers can handle a lot more.
So kind of seeing the skies change. When we checked in with you on the radar in the last forecast, we were starting to see, tornado warnings pop up. Anything you're seeing on the radar that's surprising to you, or is it all kind of coming together as you guys thought?
Nope. So far it's pretty much coming together. The models kind of project something. You don't always know which model to exactly trust, but so far the thinking is still right, and that the worst of it's to our west. We're getting some more in North Carolina. Sarah, if you want to take Max 2 again, if it's available, is it up? Do you still have the radar up there? I've got probably the 7-day, don't I?
Sarah can do anything.
She's
if you just
magic
give her
that
like
way. I know.
15 seconds, boom.
All right,
She's
hang on a
got
second.
it. Is this is what you want?
Well, no, that's fine. Yep, that's the source. I'm going to go ahead and pop over the radar just to see. It's funny, we're talking here. It's possible we could have seen additional warnings pop up. So as we take a look, and there she is loaded up, we'll go to the mosaic. And it looks like that one out around Danville's pretty much wound down now. There's still severe thunderstorm warnings out there with that line out towards South Boston. And the last little sliver, yeah, it looks like that's been discontinued. So great news there. Up towards Seneca and some of those other areas like Rustburg and Lynchburg, they've seen some rain now, just rain showers basically in Lynchburg. But Seneca, you need to be on your game there as you're getting hit with heavy rain, a lot of lightning, I'm sure, out there. As we look back closer to Hampton Roads, Williamsburg seeing some showers, nothing severe, just some rain. Moderate to heavy around Jarrett, down through Emporia, and out towards Branchville as well. So this is what's happening right now. Again, I would say the stage is still set, and we've got more opportunities for severe storms as we go through the afternoon.
If we see tornado warnings or like severe thunderstorm warnings in Hampton Roads, that's a situation where you guys will be on the air
Nonstop.
wall to wall.
So we do that. We have an obligation to pass along, as part of our FCC license, warnings. There are some folks that are blessed to have all of these wonderful digital devices, but there are others that may not have the means. It seems like almost everybody has a cell phone of some sort now, but not everybody has access to everything, all of the ways that some folks may access the data. So with a broadcast license, we still are obligated to get warning information out. We'll be doing that when there are tornado warnings, and especially depending on how it looks when they are really very strong signatures on the radar or confirmed tornadoes. We stay with them, until that tornado warning is passed and the threat is no longer. So again, we've got our team in place. Evan is here. I'm going to stick around a bit longer. Hunter's going out in the Weather Interceptor, and Tim will be in this afternoon. We'll continue to work to keep you updated right here on 13 News Now Plus, whether it's live impact news through the morning or afternoon, and then additional coverages live throughout the day on 13 News Now. I cannot stress it enough. Folks need to stay weather aware, and we'll get everybody through it as best we can. But the main thing is just know what your threats are and have a plan as well. Just make sure everything's charged up. If you still have power, it's a good idea to make sure everything's topped off with power.
I just want to say that within the last 5 minutes that we've been talking, the live look at Richmond International Airport has changed significantly.
You can see the rain,
yeah.
Sure. Yep, so the
That's
ceiling
fast,
is
yeah.
lowered. And again, this isn't even severe weather that they're dealing with. That's just a good rain up there. They do have a little heavier cell just off to the southeast of the airport area around Verena. I think it's Verena. Is it Verena or Verena? Verena? Let's go with Verena. I don't know. That's a new one on me. See, Marta's laughing because I'm usually the pronunciation guy here, but I don't.
Verena. Okay,
It's Verena? That's all right. I'd go with Verena.
Either way, it's
All right,
raining.
so you say Verena, I say Verena. All right.
Verena.
At any rate, they've got some heavier rain down there. Again, nothing severe across our area, and that is great news. I'll tell you what I have to do right now. I have to go over and jump in and get ready for the noon show.
That's okay. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to wrap up here with a look at your road conditions, sky conditions, energy conditions. So we will let you go, Craig. But thank you so much. You carried the show today.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to you guys. I will look forward to visiting again when there's not so much of a severe threat. Stay weather aware, and we'll keep you updated throughout the day on 13 News Now.
All right. Thanks, Craig. And we'll be back with more live impact news in just a few minutes.